Hello fellow Total Warriors, I am Zardar and welcome to another online battle from Warhammer 2. So this is the last one of the FESTAG ball tournament. I made it to the finals. I'm currently sitting at 1-1 against Exploding Hamster. It was supposed to be a best of 5, but due to some complications it just became a best of 3 at the last second. So yeah, that sucked for the people mostly because there would be just more games. I'm pretty sure Exploding Hamster would probably take it even if it was a best of 5 because I just wasn't quite so much prepared. Okay, so I'm quite embarrassed actually for this battle because even though I had all the right tools, even seemingly though that it seemed like I didn't, I actually had them and I used them all wrong, and I'm gonna explain as soon as the battle starts what I did wrong. So yeah, final game of the FESTAG Ball tournament. I'm quite happy I made it to the final. I went through some really tough players. Exploding Hamster went some as well, and yeah, it was it was a fun ride. So for my armies I chose the Tomb Kings. I'm playing as against the Lizardmen. So for my build I decided to go for a tip front line of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skeleton warriors with swords, not spearmen. My anti-large is hanging in the back, 3 Tomb Guard with halberds, with 2 Ushabti great bows for also anti-large. Also a Sphinx of Usef, the ROR1, and yeah, this thing is just one of the best anti-large duelists in the game. So anything that he's gonna bring, I'm gonna be able to handle it, unless I do everything wrong, that is. And for my anti-infantry, because I'm packing like a lot of anti-large here, like almost not one third, half of my spend is actually anti-large. If you take into account the Tomb Guard with halberds, the Ushabti, which they might say, oh, I thought these guys actually said anti-infantry. Oh, I might have been wrong. Yeah, I thought this, damn it. I could have swore like a year ago when I first saw them they were anti-infantry. Oh, whatever. Anyway, they're still anti-large. They can do some work to infantry, but mostly anti-large. And yeah, like a lot of spend in this. That's why I went with Cetra on a chariot, but I quite frankly think that Arkan would be a much better fit here, even though I just like Cetra a lot more on his chariot. He's just the GOAT. So yeah. Anyway, and that's my army. I also got a Necrotect with just a heal and nothing else. Do I have the passive? You know, for the melee attack? I do not. Alright, so for Exploding Hamster's army, we can see a front line of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Soros warriors with shields. So for the moment, the front line engagement is gonna go in his favor, unless Cetra actually do something about it. And this is where it comes... it becomes south for me. 4 single entity anti-large units, which I can honestly win against that. I just need to time everything right. We also got the Legion of Chakwa just providing missile support, as you can tell, for the Slan over here, which is a life one with regrowth probably, so he can keep his not Scar veterans, his his feral Carnosaurs alive. He also got the Shield of the Old Ones, the Blood Statuette of Spite, and Awakening of the Wood, because, you know, undead factions tend to blow up, so, yeah, it's good to always nice to have an AoE spell. So let's begin. Okay, it's gonna take some time until this guy's class in the front lines. I make the mistake here of actually moving instead of just making sure that I immediately start shooting. Trust me, just few seconds can actually make the difference over here. I see that his anti-large is on the flank, so I just take the initiative, just go in with Cetra, drop the Wrath of Petra over here, which I forgot to mention. So yeah, just the standard spells, Wrath of Petra, Nero's Protection, and the Jaff Incantation on Cetra. And yeah, over here I was about to get to the Soroses, but then again I thought I'm gonna get stuck over there, so I decided to just go around, and that Feral Carnosaur would not be able to keep up as it has less speed, so yeah. As you can see over here, I managed to get back, and that was actually one of my traps, just coming here with the Sphinx. Now, what I should have done over here is just actually turn Cetra around. I'm gonna try to play a little bit defensive over here, which is just leave him all alone, just away from the anti-large, but since the Sphinx is here, I should have just come in with Cetra, just poking the Feral Carnosaur in the back, just trying to just burst down that thing, because that's what I need. I have anti-large, my melee anti-large is just one entity, and he's got like 4. If he just bangs up on me, I'm dead. Like, this thing might be better, but against 4 entities, it just can't handle itself. And yeah, as you can see, I'm bursting through that Feral Carnosaur over here with just the Sphinx, but taking a lot of damage in return. I'm also spreading my damage on the other one, so that's a mistake. That's point blank mistake. You should always just focus one down, just throw everything that you got at it. Preferably it should have been here, just Cetra and the Sphinx just going full tilt on this Feral Stegodon, Carnosaur, and also the Ushabti might as well be shooting in here. But alas, I will not. I will just keep trying to avoid with Cetra, just slowly losing my Sphinx of Usef over here. As you can see now, it's 3 freaking entities on my tail, and since I haven't finished them off, they're causing like a lot of mayhem in my front lines, just make pathways through my infantry, which allows the Legion of Chakwa to actually get into the back line in the Ushabti. I will try to move them back, but yeah, like right here, but it's just not gonna be enough, because that's the I'm gonna stop like casting the battle. As you can see, like it went completely wrong. What you gotta take into account, me as well, and you when you play, is you gotta decide, do you have an offensive build that you need to rush your opponent and be aggressive, or do you have a defensive one? If it's a defensive one, don't overextend. What I should have done over here was just actually wait for Hamster to come in and chase my Ushabti or even my Sphinx, etc. That's why I say that Cetra, as you can see, like, he's full health. He shouldn't be. He should be like 50% health, because if he was 50% health, he would probably be doing his job of actually finishing off those Feral Carnosaurs and the Scar Veterans. Which right now it's just not happening. My Sphinx is half health. I could have easily gone with 2 of the guys over here, just try to take them out. But yeah, I'm just getting overswarmed with infantry because I just didn't play my cards right. And right now I'm doing the biggest mistake of them all, which is throwing my Sphinx against the freaking Feral Carnosaur with the 2 Scar Veterans on his back, and I'm not gonna try to even protect him. At this point I had the Ushabti Summon, which I should have used. Had I dropped the Ushabti Summon in here, it would cause the single entities, Feral Carnosaur and the Scar Vet, to actually just lose contact with my Sphinx, which even though it only has 1,500 HP, it would have been able, with the buffs from Cetra and him actually poking in the back, to win this engagement, even though it looked like really dire for me. But alas, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna keep to my Ushabti Summon for later, which the Ushabti Summons are always best used in the late game. Just always keep them till the end. But if the battle is going so freaking south, you need to use it at least for defensive purposes. It's wrong if you use it, to just pin down a dragon, things like that. If you use it offensive early on, it will most likely cost you the game. If you use it defensively, it might save you the game. And yeah, I didn't do that. And as you can see, my army is pretty much gone. All I have remaining is Cetra, the Ushabti just trying to shoot. And from here on, I'm just gonna get the summon, like right after when my Sphinx died. And yeah, it's not gonna be much. I'm just gonna lose the game quite easily, because I told you I didn't play my cards right. I was too afraid of Cetra dying, because you gotta remember, if you remember my first game against CityCav, I did the mistake of throwing Cetra almost away immediately, and that made me kind of scared. So yeah, I played a lot of defensive with him. I should have been more offensive, as I said, just making sure I go to one target, just burst it down quickly, because they just needed to die fast. It doesn't matter if I took some damage back, as long as these guys were just dying one by one. Even if I finished off in the late game with just 10% HP on the Sphinx and Cetra, it would have been better even it would have been better than what I got. Probably all the entities from Hamster would be dead, and all I had to do thereon was to just cycle charge the freaking infantry. Now with error rules you can't do that if you have like only 2 single entities remaining, but that's what the summon, that's where the summon comes in. You just drop the summon and just keep cycle charging with Cetra. You get the terror from the Sphinx, you get the cycle charge debuff on the morale, and that's how you break the remaining infantry, and from there on it's GG. So yeah, like as I said, I couldn't decide what I had, an offensive or a defensive build, and even if I managed to make it to realize that I have a defensive build, I didn't play it correctly, which only means one thing: more practice with this kind of playstyle. So that was it, guys. I came in 2nd place. I hope you enjoyed. That was quite a fun ride for me. And yeah, I hope more tournaments like this come in, because they're quite fun and important for me. Like, this was just a YouTuber tournament. Like, it's a big deal for me to be in there. And you guys don't know this, but there were some top dogs to be included in this tournament. Top dogs like, you know, Air of Carthage, you know, that kind of many subs. All of the big guys were asked, they just weren't able to participate, and some that actually made it to participate, they just called it off at the last second. So yeah, perhaps next time it's gonna be even better, and I hope I'm gonna be in there. So I really hope you enjoyed, guys. Feel free to leave a like or a comment, feel free to subscribe if you're not, and hit that notification button, and yeah, see you next time. Bye bye.